sentimental reasons. Forget how to speak English. Hi guys, welcome to the video. If you're here because you watched the first one, then welcome back, and I love you more than most people. People seem to really enjoy the first one, and I really enjoyed making it and sharing it with you guys. So I hope that this continues to be a series that people enjoy, whether it's my snarky sense of humor, or my amazing wisdom, or my aggressive sponginess. Whatever it is that draws you in, I'm here for it. Please take it. This is my third attempt at filming this, and I don't mean like third take. This is my third attempt. Okay, here we go for video number 2. My last attempt was going really well, but I was filming in my dining room at my table because I had this idea of like, what if I just film each journal video in a different location of my apartment, so that it would be kind of like an informal apartment tour to go along with our, Bailey's emotional tour of her past. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. To my left here, you can see my bathroom. But it was too dark, because I live in a basement, and my only window is right there. So I'm back here on my bed, in my bedroom. This is where we're gonna be for a while, and I'm just coming to terms with it. Looking through the pages, a friend in my memory, I feel like I'm dreaming. Oh, so no, I'll never leave it, no, I won't go. Don't forget me love. Oh, don't forget me love. Here we go. So we have right here, journal number 2, my Becky journal. My Becky journal is named after a really good friend of mine. She was someone that I met when I was 13, where I wasn't peak sponginess yet because I hadn't realized I could be a sponge. I got to be peak sponginess while I was her friend. She knew I needed help, and so she just was really kind to me. She was 4 years older than me. There was maturity in that age gap, which was in my favor, and she came from a big family. So she was... Not only is this journal named after Becky, but I have a character based on Becky in my novel, The Thing About Balloons. Didn't tell her I was doing that, but she reads all my books because she's just an amazing friend and supporter like that. And I remember she sent me a Facebook message after she read it. She's like, oh hey, I like the Aunt Becky character. And I was like, oh yeah, surprise! So one of the reasons why I love my Becky journal so much is because this is the journal I was using when my family first went to Morocco. Scale of happiness, this journal is 8.5. Obviously because I love Becky, and obviously because I live in Morocco. The reason why I didn't give it a full out 10 is because I still have standards, and I was reading some of the entries on the inside and I was still embarrassed. So I had to knock off some points. But otherwise, 8.5. That's solid. It's winning so far. It's the highest out of 2. So it should feel really good about itself. This journal has been to Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Chicago airport, the Charles de Gaulle airport in Paris, France, southern Spain, because we flew into Spain and then we took the ferry across to Tangier, and then it was all over in Morocco, especially in the middle region, Casablanca, Rabat, Fez, Meknès, and then we went some into the mountains, the Middle Atlas Mountains, and I think that's all. I got this from my friend's birthday party. We each got a journal like this as a party favor, and they were all different colors, but they were the same really cool reflective surface. You can see me. Hey! I have a very blurry, dark picture of Becky roller skating. And then on this side we have the date when I started, the date when I ended, and then it says Property of Bailey, and then it says my Becky journal, and then in the corner it says second book, and I put that in all of my journals. I put down which number book they are. I have all those weird random letters and numbers because in this journal I created a code and I was very pleased with myself, so I used it all the time. And if my translation services in my brain serve me correctly, I wrote Relient K lyrics because I was obsessed with the album The Anatomy of Tongue in Cheek. February 14th, Valentine's Day. I say, hi, I was going to write yesterday but never got time. After I got done with my other journal, I just about cried. Frowny face. This shows me that even though it felt and looked so immature, I was still deeply connected to it. I had already been journaling, but I never journaled like that before. It was something that I really invested my time and my heart into. Even though I didn't start off journaling about my thoughts and my feelings really, this habit of writing every day and writing what was important to me opened up the door so that when I was ready to write about feelings and I did need to process negative emotions or hard situations, I already had a whole history of this being important to me. Obviously it was Valentine's Day and I didn't have a Valentine because I was only 14. Way too young for a Valentine. But my brother got a Valentine from, we'll just call her Joanne again. And she gave my brother a Valentine, and so I wrote it word for word in my journal because I thought it was so weird that a girl would give my brother a Valentine because he was
weird,
not super suave. When you live in the backwoods of Wisconsin and you don't have a lot of guys and one of them is your brother, like, you know, I get it, Joanne. I get it. Now, back then I didn't, obviously, because I roasted you. But I will share this Valentine. Who doesn't want to know what my older brother got for Valentine's Day in 2003? Quentin, that's my brother's name. Will you be my Valentine? 2 little squirrels sitting in a tree. One is you and one is me. We're as cozy as can be. Don't you agree? And then at the end in parentheses it says, just joking. And then she signed it. And I wrote after that, wow, I would never give a Valentine like that to a boy. And that is true. That is true. Here we are, 16 years later, and I have never given a Valentine like that to a boy, mostly because I've never had a Valentine. Not that there haven't been boys. There have been boys. We'll get into that. I wonder if I should change their names when I talk about them online. Do I care? I don't know. We'll find out. So there have been boys, but there have been no Valentines.
Love that for me.
And then, of course, it's just a really long entry about everything that everyone ever did to me that day. And yeah, they're like, oh, Bailey's in the bathroom again. She's probably journaling, because when you come from a big family, that's the only place you get privacy is the bathroom. Like, #relatable. Here, yep, see, really long entries, all the verbal vomit, the normal sponginess you would assume, you would expect, you know. I did ask for people to send in journal entry requests for this journal specifically because I was like, oh, it's my Becky journal. I really want people to give me entries so I can read from this journal because it's my favorite. And then I was reading them and I actually recorded myself reading them. And they were so long and had so many unnecessary details, I was bored. And I was like, this is bad. If I'm bored and I know the people, you guys don't even know the people I'm talking about, so I decided I wouldn't do that. Don't worry if you did send in a date request and I'm not reading it from this one. I have 16 years worth of journals. I'll hit your date, so be patient. This is just not the journal to do it in. I'm going to try to hold the journal up here while I'm reading from it because I realized in the other one when I was reading it was down here and I was just like this and it looks kind of weird, so I'm going to try to hold it up here so that it doesn't look like I'm just reading my lap. I wrote more about email forwards. Oh my god. Okay, I thought getting 20-something emails was a lot, but how about getting 44 emails, about 40 of which were forwards? Which is really funny because I had to explain what email forwards were to my 17-year-old brother. I was like, Malik, Facebook didn't exist back then. You couldn't just post something to your wall. If you wanted your friends to see something funny or have good luck, you had to forward it in an email. He was like, that's really weird. I was like, yes, I know. I realize that now. Here's another episode of 14-year-old Bailey being really scandalized.
#relatable.
I stayed up late after 10 p.m. reading Johnny, about Johnny Erickson Tata. I have a vague recollection of actually reading that book. And when she had her movie made, she had to kiss a guy that she didn't know. Now that's disgusting. And then in big, like, bold letters, I wrote, really disgusting! Exclamation point. So, that is how I felt about kissing someone you're not married to. I'm going to read just from when we were traveling to Morocco because I thought that'd be really fun to see what I was saying about the international traveling and going to a new country. It wasn't my first time leaving the country. We had actually previously lived in Haiti for 3 months, but we'd never been across the ocean. So this was my first time going across the ocean. So I have here March 18, 2003, and I wrote that my location was the airport in Paris, France. The second we stepped in the airport, I already felt like I was in a different country. I think I only saw a handful of Americans. The others spoke different languages or had an accent. But I wrote had a accent because I'm really good at English. We had to buy Malik's ticket, and that took a long time. Talia told Demetrius to count cars and buses while he waited, because Demetrius would have been... five. Yes, 5. 6. 5. 5. Talia told Demetrius to count cars and buses while he waited, and when he couldn't see any, he would pray, "Please send me more buses, please." He was very cute. We finally got Malik's ticket and went to the waiting room where we got to wait for 1.5 hours. Finally, we boarded and found out that our plane was first class all the way through, which is false. But for my first time traveling overseas, that was the only grid that I had. We got personal TVs, obviously first class. We also had head cradles, you know, the things that come out on either side of your head and you can like lay on them if you're tall enough. I've never been tall enough, so they've never really done anything for me, but I get it. For you tall people, you like the head cradles. I'm happy for you. We have footrests, blankets and pillows, TVs, good food. I wrote good food, all caps. And then I had to interrupt that entry with saying we were on the Strait of Gibraltar, which is really cool. We were on the ferry. Hey, we just passed the rock and I'm feeling a bit sick, so I'm going to stop now. So then I wrote down everything we eat for supper, which was chicken with potatoes, carrots and green beans, a very good salad, bread, apple and cake, cheese and water. So that was my first travel experience overseas. And then we got to Paris. A lady let her dog pee on the floor. Yuck. I have a very vivid memory of watching this lady let her dog pee on the floor of the airport. So for years, my parents were all like, ooh, let's not travel through Charles de Gaulle. Like, that's kind of a gross airport. And then I had to travel through it at the very beginning of 2010. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so fancy. There were like automatic walkways that were like slanting up like tunnels. And I was like, this is amazing. But then I've never gone through it since then. I'm just gonna read little tiny snippets from when we first got to Morocco. So we got off in Tangier, went to a restaurant, so we ate right away. And I said I got fried rice and some couscous and a chicken leg. Someone else ordered the couscous and like shared some with me. And someone else ordered the chicken and shared with me. I ate a lot when I was 15, like I remember eating so much. I remember Brendan and Josh, my brother's friends, they would watch me eat and they'd be like, how are you eating as much as we are? They're like, 6'4" guy. Like Brendan was extremely tall. And here I am, 5'2", which...
Love that for me.
We took taxis to the train station and we got to ride first class. We saw sheep, cows, horses, donkeys, cats, dogs, and lots of colorful jalabas. So that was kind of my first, like, welcome to Morocco. I'm not even gonna read this whole entry. I'm just gonna read part of it because I think this is the first time I actually write about my feelings a little bit. It's March 31st, so I'm in Morocco. So I said, hi, I'm so sad. I actually cried. I was reading in my journal from right before Becky left because she was also going on a trip. She left, I think, a couple days before we did. I'm not really homesick as much as friendsick. Becky the most, but also Emily and Beth and Joe and Kelsey. All such big blessings in my life. They teach me and are good examples and listeners, all of them. I can remember talking to each of them about how I felt right then. Emily especially. I would die without friends like them. My friends back in Minnesota are all good friends, and I talk with them a lot when I go back, but we live such different lifestyles that we can't talk about everything. I'm so glad I can write down my thoughts in you. I usually only write down mostly what happens, but I have to vent somewhere without my piano and music. And then I drew a beautiful little picture of a flower, and then I wrote my name. And then I had this really embarrassing thing where I asked my journals questions, and I was gonna roast myself about it, but I still do this.
Love that for me.
Because it says April Fool's Day. Got any good ideas? A little dictionary of the words that I learned in Arabic while I was there. It's so cool to look back and be like, whoa, this is where it started. These were the first words I learned. I'll give you a little Arabic lesson in Moroccan dialect. So let's have Darija class with Samira. So the first word, Darija, that is the name of the Moroccan Arabic dialect because every Arab-speaking country has a different dialect. And my name, my Arabic name is Samira because I have found in my many years of traveling overseas that Bailey is a hard name to say in every country I've ever visited except Canada, I think. This is when I got that name in 2003. No is La, yes is iya or both are understandable as yes. Thank you is shukran, come is aji, all done is safi, okay is wacha, horse is laud, goodbye is slama, the drinkable yogurt is Danup. That's not even Arabic, that's just a brand, so sponsor me Danup. Here's a word that I translated incorrectly. I have the word good, and then the word for good in Arabic is mizyan with an m, but I wrote bizyan. After that, I wrote use after shukran, shukran mizyan. That's also, you wouldn't say that. Don't listen to her. She doesn't know what she's talking about yet. The word for a lot or very is bezef, and then cold is bart. And I remember being bart bezef while I was there because it was the mountains and it was raining every other day and we were in concrete houses with no heating. And so when you're cold, you're just cold. When there's no sun, there's no way to get warm. And then I had bad as khayb. That is your Arabic lesson for the day. Flower from the mountains of Morocco. There you go. And then we went home. I'm only sharing this story because it's about Demetrius, and I mean, he's a young adult now, so it's really funny to look back and read these stories from when my brothers were so young. This is from April 20th. We're back in Wisconsin at this point. We had just got back a few days before. So in all fairness, Demetrius is probably really struggling with jet lag. He's probably just like, what country am I in? What time is it? Where's my food? After lunch, Talia left to play with Joseph, and Mom and Dad went for a walk. Demetrius was so wild. I was writing anew on the couch under the blue teddy bear blanket, but he was coming up and putting blankets blankets and stuff on me, climbing on me and all this stuff. Even by the computer, he threw stuff at me, and I put an angry face. I got mad and was hiding and stuff, but every time he found me, he would throw stuff at me. One time he couldn't find me, so he was walking around the house in his cowboy boots, yelling, "Where are ya, you little stupid dog?" I was dying when I read this. Oh my goodness, that was so funny. I'm sorry, Demetrius. My last entry was May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, which I don't know why. I've always kind of just liked Cinco de Mayo. Even when I don't get to eat amazing Mexican food, which I love eating amazing Mexican food, but it just, I don't know, it's just one of those, like, Flag Day. Why do I like Flag Day? I don't know. I just felt like I needed to like it. So Cinco de Mayo is probably like my 5th favorite holiday after like Canada Day, Flag Day, 4th of July, my birthday, Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, so my 5th favorite holiday. So this is my last page there. I have this beautiful picture here to end it all off with, and then I wrote signing off, and then I wrote my name, and then I have all of my favorite people stick figures here. And I definitely shipped some of these people. These two couples in particular that I really wanted to end up together, and none of them ended up together, but I shipped them hardcore. I ended this circa 6:22 p.m. at the piano, which the piano was in my bedroom. And then it was done.
I would dance here for